Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrew Davis, and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am scandalous like an Ashley, and I am extremely excited because I wanted to do this interview for a while. And I have with me Robin Coffins and Sarina Havok. So, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having us. It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm a little nervous, everybody. I'm a little nervous because I have two very, very, very beautiful women around me who are amazing. And I am clearly the least attractive person in this room. So I know my place. I know my place. But all jokes aside, I am very, very excited to have both of you on because I love both of your works, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I kind of want to allow you two to introduce who you are because there's a bunch of people who know who you are. There's people who have seen what you've done. There's people who know a little bit about you, but obviously I figured I would allow you two to introduce yourselves for those who don't know who you are, and they should be ashamed.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
You.
You're the beginning of the brand.
Well, so I'm Sarina Havok.
And I'm Robin Coffins.
And we are
Amateur Productions.
we're filmmakers, producers, models,
Performers. What do we don't do is the question. We're vampires. I'm also nervous.
So obviously, let me just kind of state a little bit. Obviously, you are in the adult world. Is a good way to put it. The nicest way possible. And obviously, you do things on, and I'll just say it, and I'll deal with the consequences. You do stuff on OnlyFans. You've done stuff for certain companies. I don't know what companies I can and can't say, but you've shot some adult content. Obviously, you shot with each other. Using a camera. I want to make that crystal clear. We're
using a camera, yes.
But obviously you do a lot of that stuff. So how did you two get started? Because you've been doing this forever, as far as I'm concerned. At least I remember. I mean, it's got to be more than 5 years. At least in my head, it does. And I don't want to date myself. And if any other questions come up, I will just plead the fifth.
I kind of like that you know that though. Yeah, it's been what, 7?
Between 7 and 8 years, yeah.
I started camming before we met, actually. So I was a cam girl. And then when we met on Tinder, we
2016.
we kind of immediately, like, I went to her house and we hooked up, and she eats butt on the first date. And then she had been wanting to cam for a while, so we started doing that together, and that's kind of what started us off.
Yes, and then I told you, baby, you're not just a cam girl, you're a star. So we packed up our car and moved to Vegas in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
And decided to become porn stars.
Well, so like we kind of like packed up our car and we're on the road for a bit, and we were like making films that were kind of like story driven in our car on our phone cameras. But we were doing like shot for shot and like kind of like story driven content.
I was like a ghost hitchhiker, and it's like she'd pass by me and then she'd be driving down the same road and she passes by me again and she's like, what the fuck? And then she skids into the ditch and I'm like recording her skidding into the ditch and stuff. And you gave me that classic line.
Gas, grass, or ass. No one rides for free. Yeah.
So that was one of our first ones, and we randomly got nominated for the Transerotica Awards, just making videos while we were traveling. So we were like, I guess we're going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this, because I mean, I think it's safe for me to say it, and if it's not, just tell me to shut the fuck up. But you two are a couple. You're a couple still, and I think you're married, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But at that point, were you married or were you just a couple, and then you were going along this and shooting together and going on this journey? Because that's what's interesting about the two of you, is that you're a couple that's doing this together at a very pivotal point and choosing a certain path. I don't know how to phrase that any other way without
Yeah.
being story centric, but that's what's fascinating about this whole thing. At least from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we were just dating. We had just met maybe a few weeks before, like a month at the most, when we started doing the videos and stuff together. And she actually made me wait 5 years till I could ask her to marry me. But I was like, okay, I'll see you in 5 years because I already knew I wasn't letting this one go.
Yeah, so we kind of just got together. So one thing that we did early on, we had met and she told me how she wanted to go to Elizabeth Bathory's castle in Slovakia, like the Blood Countess. I don't know if you know about her.
I don't. This is like news to me. Like, I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so there's like this Blood Countess, who was Vlad the Impaler's cousin, actually.
Who would bathe in the blood of her servants. And actually, a lot of Bram Stoker's story about Dracula is based off of her kind of mixed in with her cousin, funny enough. So I always dreamed of going to this castle. And just as we had started dating, we ended up going out to Hungary and visiting the castle. And
it was her bucket list item. So I was like, well, let's just go do it. So we went and we did this crazy trip. We have to make a video about that sometime. And we got to the middle of Slovakia to this castle, and we were like, maybe we'll film something there. And everyone's like, don't do it. Don't do it. You might get arrested.
you were telling me.
I was freaking.
Yeah, I was freaking to it.
But we ended up filming a video in this old castle ruins on the top of a mountain, and it was pretty cool.
That was the night we almost died, but that's another story.
Yeah, so we just did like a lot of traveling around to different places together and stuff. We were just like always together and coming up with new cool stuff to do. It wasn't so much about getting like attention or gaining any sort of like notoriety. It was more just like for us to have fun and to go do more adventures.
Yeah, we both always wanted an adventure buddy. So when we met, it was game on.
So to even go into this a little bit too, because obviously if you're filming this and the internet in 2016 was not the internet in 2008, if that makes any sense. And obviously, I don't know when OnlyFans came into existence and or many vids, but I think Clips for Sale was around and there's some other stuff. So obviously distribution of that content, it's obviously a lot bigger now. And there's a lot more, I think, liberation of distribution channels, which I'm sure people are more than happy to challenge me on that. But for argument's sake, for my question, what was that like? Because you could easily just put it up on Clips for Sale or ManyVids or something similar to that, and then your content's getting out there, or you can put it on Pornhub, or you could just self-publish it and not worry about the, I guess, economic back end of it. But what was that like? Because one video kind of broke and you got nominated, and then all of a sudden it's kind of attention. Right? I mean, that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we posted it everywhere. ManyVids, Pornhub.
It was pre-OnlyFans though.
Pre-OnlyFans, but we had our own personal site, SarinaandRobin.com. And so yeah, it was on all of our sites. And it's a little bit scary because we could technically get in trouble for it if, the authorities found out. But
it's fine.
It's fine now. That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, but I had been kind of shown by a friend, like the ManyVids thing, and there was one that was called Extra Lunch Money back in the day. I hear it's still around, but it's so it's been interesting. There's been like multiple sites and stuff that have kind of come and gone, but
yeah, you never know which one's gonna shut down because sometimes you have a bunch of eggs in one of those baskets, like Pornhub, and stops making money, right? Because they couldn't accept money anymore, and it was crazy. But ManyVids has been pretty solid for the last few years.
I think that's been our main one.
Mm-hmm.
That's initially what we posted it on.
Yeah,
so
our first videos went up on there for sure.
So to even go further into this though, so obviously you're doing this stuff, and then you get nominated, and what was that like? Because it's like I came out of the blue, right? Like, like what the fuck? Have you ever
Yeah.
gotten an award? Right? In 8th grade, I got an award, and they pulled me out of a class, and then somebody's like, "Oh, Andrew got called down to the office," and an ex-friend of mine then told his mom, and then my mom's like, "Oh, did you get called down for the office for something?" I'm like, "I'm not too sure if I'm getting something, Mom. I don't know." And then like I had no fucking clue because like it just like legitimately went in one side of my head and out the other. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't really know what happened, but I don't care. Like, and so what was this like? Because you're nominated, and it's like cool, like, or is it like this is
Well,
awesome? What is it? Because yeah,
for me, being from Canada, I had never been to like LA. I had never been to so like I didn't know the Trans Erotica Awards even existed really. I didn't know much about the industry, but to be nominated at an award show in Los Angeles, I was like, well, yeah, I have to go. It's Hollywood. Like, it was very nerve wracking, of course.
Mhm.
But like I felt like it was really nice because I felt really accepted right away. Like we met some immediate friends that are still friends till today, and so it was really nice and cool to be nominated. We were like, how would people even think to nominate us? Kind of thing.
Yeah. We're
But
just doing our own thing, and then we got a nomination. We were just shocked.
it just felt like fun little projects, kind of.
Yeah, like high school projects. You do a little video, and then you do a little editing, and then you do a little bit.
Oh, I was using like Windows Movie Maker
Oh,
and a
yeah.
broken computer when we started too. The computer screen is smashed. It's a 32 gigabyte tablet.
A little tiny screen.
But we were determined. So I think the determination maybe paid off a little bit.
and then obviously even going further into this, and obviously just jumping a little bit ahead because obviously, I mean, you two obviously have your website. You obviously were doing a lot more content. You've done content with a bunch of other people, and then you also have done separate content. I think you both have many vids, and like, what has that been like? Because clearly, if you've been doing this since 2016, I mean, this is, if my math is correct, 8, 9 years kind of doing this.
Around
And
there, yeah.
so what is this like? Because obviously technology has changed, liberation has changed. The introduction of OnlyFans is a whole new stratosphere. And
Yes.
what has that been like? Because loyal fans, Thrawn, I think is another one, right? So what has that been like? Because that obviously allows you to do a lot more content and a lot more material and a lot more other shit, for lack of a better word.
It's been interesting, like learning the new platforms and stuff every time there's like a new favorite one that people are into, and but it's been making distribution a lot easier these days. Like you only had one or two sites before that you could really put anything on. So like now we can get it across and get more eyes on the things that we do. We're trying to like, what is it, like remaster some of the old ones and like get them distributed properly now where they didn't get the attention that they did when we first started. Um,
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting. There's been some like older stuff that maybe we thought wasn't usable at the time or stuff like that, but now we're going and looking back on it and being like, what were we thinking? We can release this. Even our first video together that we ever did still has not been released to this day because we want to make sure that it's done properly. But it'll be cool when it comes out at like the 10 years and we're like, hey, this is the first video we did. But yeah, the distribution has been good, and stuff like Neon Vampire that we've been able to get out across multiple platforms, and then news articles, and then like even some stuff in like magazines or
DVDs. We're picking them up this weekend.
So I want to even talk about this a little bit too, because obviously I come from the Kickstarter comic world, and a friend of mine just said what OnlyFans is it's crowdfunding in a certain way, and it's just crowdfunding in for I'll say it and feel free to challenge me, but OnlyFans is known for adult content. It doesn't have to be adult content. You don't have to do adult content on OnlyFans. There are people who do music, there are people who do other things, but mostly OnlyFans is adult content. but it's crowdfunding. But also, you as a backer of OnlyFans get content out of it. So there's nothing wrong with OnlyFans being a crowdfunder for adult content. But it also, I think, with distribution, it also makes potentially earnings more predictable. Because if you have a subscription model and you know that you're going to have 300 subscribers paying you $15 a month, you have an idea roughly, and you could estimate very conservatively, you're going to make X amount of money if you are stable enough on OnlyFans and they don't shut down your account. And that's been, I think, a major problem. I think just in any creation is, am I going to get paid next month? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you can distribute content, if you're not making any money, I mean, you got to eat, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've never thought of it that way, but that is a very interesting perspective, that it's a crowdfunding thing, because yeah, there is a subscription, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That way, and it does open up a lot more content that we can use too. Like she was saying that we had all this stuff that we did before, but it didn't really fit for say ManyVids or Pornhub or something. But on OnlyFans, you can put anything up there, and people love it. Like,
yeah, it's really cool being able to connect with fans in like a way where you can post like, hey, here's what I'm doing today, or like here's a 30-second or 2-minute clip of something, so it doesn't feel like it has to be a whole production all the time, but you get to kind of show like, you know, your daily life or behind the scenes or stuff like that that people wouldn't normally get to see. I like seeing the reaction to that and seeing what people like. And then, you know, even to go a little bit further, like you were saying, the crowdfunding thing, I think like if I post like a video and it starts flying off the shelves, that's kind of like people voting towards, they like that sort of content, and that's what I, you know, might want to do more of.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I back people on OnlyFans, and some of these women run polls. What content do you want to see me get made? And I mean, you know, I'll be honest, as somebody, and hopefully the right people are watching, not the wrong people, and hopefully I won't have to deal with a complicated issue with certain people in my household who may or may not be watching this, hopefully, and now have questions after this interview. But no, but in certain ways, when I get to vote, I'm like, okay, cool, I want to see this. And then you have 400 people, and now it gives you an idea of what wants to be seen. You know, I poll on YouTube my audience on a bunch of stuff, right? Sometimes it's just television. What's your favorite character in, you know, that 70s show is a good example. That poll has no meaning, right? But also I say, hey, do you want to see more anime videos? Do you want to see more comp videos? Do you want to see more cosplay? Do you want to see more wrestling? And if my 50 people vote, you know, that's going to give me an inclination, if I run that enough times on data, of what my audience wants to see compared against real data that is given to me. And that's what I think is interesting. So that I find the whole thing really fascinating. But I'm not on OnlyFans as a content creator. I'm as a consumer. And I feel that it's very much that I get to connect also to certain people.
Yeah, no, I think it's good too, because like I trust that input as well. Like say I do it on Twitter and there's 50,000 people on there that are, you know, some of them can vote, but are they really supporting, or like, are, you know, there's bots, there's this, there's that. So like I think the statistics are more pertinent on OnlyFans, I would say.
So let me ask you this. Do you also feel that when people are paying and you have to pay to vote, that also that opinion changes? Because now I have skin in the game. So if I back and I'm paying you $15 every month or $7 every month, and then I get to participate in your polls, obviously I have skin in the game with my vote. Versus on Twitter or X or YouTube, it's free. So somebody can say, I mean, you know, I'm asking a question about a TV show that has no merit on my production values. But if I'm asking a real opinion in a subscription model, I don't want to pull somebody who's not a member. If I have a subscription, I want to pull the people who are actually buying the subscription, because those are the people who are benefited. So like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe you disagree, and that's fine. But like, that's how I view it, is that I think when somebody puts money into something, their vote is more significant than when somebody is not voting for free.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's good to know what your fans are looking for, because it does get kind of hard when you think you know what your fans are looking for. So it's definitely very helpful, the ones that are actually supporting you, to get their input for sure.
And sometimes the things that you don't even think are going to perform do, because like, I mean, you're not really the sole arbiter of what someone's going to like. So it's kind of cool sometimes where I think, oh, I don't know if I like this video, but then everyone loves it. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
does anything you ever publish shock you on what it does? Because that happens to me with my content. Is I'm like, why the fuck did this thing just do 1,600 views? I thought this was a stupid interview, and everybody's like, great, man, way to go. Like, and I'm like, I wasn't feeling it that day, man. No, dude, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, so like, and what is even that like for you guys? Because you're obviously doing adult content, and you're like, oh man, I didn't feel that scene, and then bam, it's like,
That's the one.
but
It's like the cherry pie effect. The song by Warrant. Warrant, that's their
Warrant,
name. Yeah. That is like their big number one song. But actually they hate it. They they hate it, and the producers, the record company made them write it. So it's funny because sometimes you're just like, this is my cherry pie. Really? This one? This is the
But, like,
one?
I've noticed lately, and I've noticed by talking to a bunch of other creators, that sometimes that is the case. That when you think you're doing the worst, you're having a bad day, you know, you don't want to do it. You just show up, you do it, you get through it, and you think it's gonna flop, and then it turns out to be awesome, and people love it. And so I think it's just actually doing the thing regardless, you know. Like I like to say, if you make something, then it exists, and if you don't make it, then it never will, you know.
It exists forever.
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then I mean, I'm gonna circle back to something too, because obviously you're now also looking at older content that you mentioned earlier in this interview, and some of that's never been released, or some of it needs to be remastered. And I'm going through that with some stuff on YouTube myself right now, where stuff was released almost 10 years ago, and I'm re-releasing it, not even editing it. I'm just re-releasing it because it's been buried, and some of this
Yeah.
stuff's gotten like 5,000 views just in audio, but it's now I'm bringing it back into what I'm doing on YouTube as just an additional video, and it doesn't really matter to me, at the very least, what it does or if it's liked, because it's just in the lexicon of the library. And I'm curious
Mhm.
how you feel about that, because what is that like? Because it almost OnlyFans to some degree is a library. And it's almost like a Netflix position where you just have a fuck ton of content on Netflix. And
Yeah.
every time you add a video to OnlyFans, isn't it just another reason for somebody and adds value to your subscription?
Yeah, definitely. I like to put up some like really old ones, and then I say this is like a classic, Serena and Robin video. You haven't seen it for a while, but trust me, this one's good. It's really old, but it's a classic. So I like archiving them like that too.
I find, like you were saying earlier, with the like more recent technology and stuff, that as we've gone on through the years, like you kind of see the difference in the quality and stuff. And so at times I've been tempted to go back and just delete certain videos and say, look, this one is liked. And I say, Robin, I'm going to delete this. And she goes, no, like that's part of our career. That's part of the thing. And I think it is
Our
cool that
history.
people can watch it. Whether I like it or not, it is.
You're like, all the colors are
It's
so
part
bad.
of the colors are bad, or it's washed out, or like just technical issues that I don't think anyone's really worried about.
But it shows that we came from somewhere, and now we're slightly somewhere else, slightly above the bottom.
So I have a different view on that. So I am 31, and I'm planning hopefully to have kids. And so I would like my children to see their father's legacy for like 20, 30, 40 years. Or if you have a niece or a nephew, so I have a niece. And at some point, she's going to be like, oh my God, this was when my dad was, or my uncle was 20, and then there's gonna be 30 fucking years of her hearing my complete first interview of me being stiff as a rock to just being completely like hammered on a show all the way to being so technical savvy in an interview and like have the greatest interview I've ever had. And I've done every single one of those things so far. So like
Yeah.
for me, it's a legacy component. First thing more than anything else is that somebody can legitimately go through the last 11 years of my life on YouTube and be like, I get it. And which I understand how Andrew arrived here. And I'm not saying I want somebody to do that. You're more than welcome to go. You're more than welcome to anybody. But if you watch all 1,600 of my YouTube videos, you will get a glimpse of the last 11 years of my life. And
Right.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
mind-boggling. So like that's what it is for me. So I don't know what it is for YouTube, but like maybe it's just content. It's like somebody loves this old school video.
No, it's definitely like that for me. I like to put my stuff in chronological order. However, I get told that I should be putting the best stuff at the top. But yeah, because I also want to make like, you know, like videos or like movie style about like the whole journey, basically, you know, and then we have all the pieces to tell those stories, you know. So I think it's important to keep the good old videos in your library that tells a story, you know.
And then
Yeah.
sorry, what were you saying?
And that's the best part of I think about us. It's our story.
No, I mean, look, I think that's everybody has their own positions, and again, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, and I'll say it about the both of you. I think it's really interesting when there's couples in the adult industry and they stay together and they're still together and they're creating content together. Because I'm not in the adult industry, so I can't make any statements, but I can imagine that I don't know the statistic on couples in the adult industry. But the fact that you two are still together, shooting things together, having a good time, and running a business together, I mean, it's clearly something that I don't think is the norm in the industry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass. If I am, tell me to shut the fuck up again. But that's what I think is interesting about the two of you in particular is that I don't think this is the norm, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I mean there are some couples in the industry. Um, as far as I know, we're one of the ones that have been together the longest, though. Uh, they, yeah, they
You
do
can
have
plead the fifth.
complications for
Fifth
sure.
at any point. You can plead the fifth at any point.
Oh no! I just
It's interesting because people ask us that a lot, like how it is, you know, being a couple and stuff, and like I mean, like jealousy or this or that, or you know, because sometimes those things can be hard. But I think that we've managed to deal with that pretty well. I like filming her with other people and stuff, so it works out for me really well. And I just like seeing pretty girls and pretty girls being happy and doing things together. So
yeah,
makes my life easy.
and we're pretty solid, like relationship wise. Like she's my person, you know. Like,
Yeah.
nobody else really like.
Well, like I dated other people. We've dated other people
Yeah,
before. But
like as we were while we were together.
while we were together.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of just each other's people.
It brings us together actually a lot, you know.
So
So we really
fast.
start appreciating each other.
I would like to say I could understand, but I can't. Because I'm not in that space. Like so I think I understand on a conceptual level.
Yeah.
But I'm a very jealous person. I'm a very selfish person, with my partners and my future partners. I want them for me and only me.
Yeah.
And I know my personality. I don't know if that's such a bad thing, as far as I'm concerned. But maybe it is. Maybe I have it wrong. I don't know.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. I think we might be the ones that are not as normal, you know? Like, but that's okay. I think everyone has their own like preferences and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I
We
just
know a lot of people
that's the
that are
problem.
one.
All I know is that if my wife is really hot and then she's with like another girl or another guy, it's gonna drive me mad. It's gonna drive me like that should be me, and how dare she? And then I would
That's
go
fair.
over, push him out, and I would take over. It'd be this
But there's like just some things you can't do with two people, you know? With only two people. You need another one.
Yeah, like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
there are so many things I could say to that. Oh, because I know we're not talking about the Olympics. I know we're not talking about the
Kind
Olympics.
of like the Olympics.
Oh,
That's
oh my God.
You gotta give me intense eye contact and a high five, or it's not proper form.
Oh my.
Oh, jeez.
I have nothing to say. I have nothing to
Nothing,
say.
nothing, Andrew.
I understand where we're going with this. I get it. I understand why. I completely get it. I just have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I don't know what I could say to make this better. All I know is that I'm at a loss for words. Maybe
Oh no,
maybe I should.
what have we
No.
done? Should we get a medal?
If this was an Olympic sport, just
Right.
So funny story actually. I don't know if you know about this one, but our wedding night, we decided to have some friends over. And
Consummate.
we had like 5 or 6 other girls to help us consummate our marriage. And it was pretty great. And we got an award for our wedding orgy actually. But we were like, why not have all the friends over? So it was like it was a pretty good night, actually.
It was great.
I probably know that scene too, which is not good. Clearly, everybody's seeing this and is gonna stumble across this. It's gonna have new questions about my personal life. They're gonna have new questions about my tastes after this. But I'm an adult and I'm a big boy, and I knew exactly what was gonna happen in this interview. I knew exactly what was gonna happen. I
I mean,
mean,
at least you have good taste.
what'd you say?
At least you have good taste.
That is true. That is true. That is true in a lot of ways. So I know one scene that was like that. I think my favorite scene was when either you blindfolded Serena or Robin was blindfolded and snuck into the apartment with 2 other girls. I think T.S. Foxy was in that scene too. And
Oh yeah, it was my birthday.
that's a
And I
good
had to
scene.
cover my eyes.
That one was great. Foxy's amazing.
I love Foxy so much. She's the sweetest angel.
It's funny because in the intro of that scene, when like we're bringing Robin in, and I'm like, look what I got you. She was like actually nervous, so you can see. And
I was just like freeze.
froze up and didn't know what to say.
I'm so excited.
I know
It was my
that
first time working with Foxy, so yeah.
scene. I know the Ashley Aspen scene.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Show was canceled.
What'd you say?
The concert was canceled.
Oh yeah.
It's always fun coming up with like the little scenarios and stuff, you know, before you know, it's fun for us, I think.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And then even going further into this too, because obviously I think both of you do customs as well.
Yes.
And so what is that like? Because letting other people also come with ideas is fun. And I like the idea of customization. I think just in general, I love the idea of customization. And I've said this before across the board, where the things that are going to dictate media is when I can watch something, big libraries and complete customization. And it's not just adult stuff. It's also the idea of just everything else. And so
Yeah.
what is that like? Because somebody might have a fun idea and you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Right. And
Yeah.
then they're paying for it. You're getting paid. You get the back end content and everybody wins because the person who paid for it gets what they want. It gets released if you wanted to into the lexicon of what you've done, if you wanted to. And
Yeah.
then, you get to shoot something that's like, oh, this person has a really interesting idea. And I never thought of that, or I wouldn't do that unless I was being paid to do it.
Absolutely. I have a lot of fun with customs actually. Because sometimes they're like really surprising, and like sometimes they'll give you like a full script and you're like, okay, I can do this. This is great. And they could turn out really well, and you're just like you're surprised because you put it up for sale and people love it and the customer loves it, and you never would have thought of doing that. Basically, you've had some really interesting customs.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
interesting one. Involving various fruits and or legumes, not legumes,
Produce.
produce.
Various produce, we shall say.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get clever on how you make a salad.
Yeah.
Right.
So now I'm like, maybe I'll just do a ranking list, depending on how many I got. But
Watermelon.
yeah, I kind of like the idea that somebody gives you like an idea, and a lot of the time it is something I wouldn't have thought of. And then sometimes it ends up being something that you end up liking, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Kink unlocked.
Yeah.
Those are always
I like customs. I like the idea of it. I like doing them. I like every once in a while treating myself appropriately with one because why not? Why the fuck not? They're fun. I like to be in the director's seat, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that like?
I think so. My thing is that I'm always like not sure exactly. Sometimes the wording is a little ambiguous. And so I'm like, I'm not sure that this is exactly what they want or whatever, but it's funny because every time that I do a custom, the person's like, I love it, it's amazing. But every time I go through that little like, I have to imagine the angles in my head and what they want to see and all that, like,
You get a little
I
nervous.
get a little nervous.
I hope they like it.
I just want it to be good. So, but every time they're happy.
So far.
Yeah.
We haven't had any complaints yet.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm very, when I give a script for a custom, I'm general, but if I want certain things done and said in it, I'm gonna make sure that's said. But I like to give artists the ability to create. It's kind of
Right.
like you can't tell me how to run a podcast. You could give me an idea of the points you want to talk about, but you also have to realize that I'm going to structure it around those points, but you can't tell me word for word what's going to happen. It's not going to work. And I don't like if I buy into comic, covers and variants, again, you can tell me the idea you want, or I can tell my artist the idea I want, but I'm not going to say, you got to draw the line this way and this way, and I need her smile to be this big. Like, that's not because that's just going to fuck somebody up.
Right.
And I ordered a very expensive commission. And I said, I want it like Firefighter Sexy Samantha, which is what this artist did 3 years ago. It was a Robin Hood in front of the Flatiron building in a fire suspenders covering her breasts, holding up like the fire with the peeking out. And so I said, I wanted to go with this character in Van Helsing. And that's what the artist did, but I didn't tell him how to do it. I said, I want it in this style, and the cover I want, just play around with whatever you want. So you got Van Helsing in firefighter's pants with the suspenders covering her breasts, which are large. And instead of blonde hair, she's in a top hat with the Van Helsing goggles. The thing's gotten like 15,000 likes on Instagram.
Wow.
From
awesome.
New York. It was an expensive commission. It was like $300, worth every penny.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that sounds really cool though. I have to check that out.
It's not for sale.
I know.
I got offers on it. I've had offers on it, and I'm like, I'm not interested. So I
One at a
digress.
time, you know?
Right. Sorry.
But I do want to shift gears because I do want to talk about the thing that you mentioned earlier as well, which is my favorite thing the two of you have done, and that is neon vampires.
Neon
So,
vampire.
so break this down for me because there was neon vampires, what I think is number one, even though it's not. I mean, it's got a better title. I'm sure you're going to tell me what that title is. I don't remember off the top of my head.
The
And
beginning.
what'd you say?
Choking.
Neon Vampire 1 is the beginning. She's choking.
I'm choking.
It's a little dry here.
Sorry.
Is she okay? Like,
You're good? Okay, she's good. She's all right.
Sorry, my eyes are watering.
Okay, yes. So Neon Vampire, number 1 was called The Beginning.
Yes. That one was with Darcy Diamond and myself. And I'm still joking.
somebody tried to take the queen's spot, didn't they?
I did. Mm. So the mission, well, the story is about the vampire queen, stalking me and then changing me so that she could have a companion. Only I'm disgruntled because I didn't get, a choice, the classic, like, Lestat kind of thing. Like, I didn't get a choice. And so I get upset and I run off and I try to find a better way, instead of having to kill people in order to sustain my life. And then that's where the neon vampire part comes in. So I'm creating an army of these new vampires to take over. They're hybrid energy vampires and blood vampires as a hybrid breed. So I take the crown and I become the queen of the vampires.
So to talk about this, because I think was that done more mainstream and with more of a mainstream production company, the first one, or was that one done by you guys?
So it was a story that we wrote and we approached Alterotic to collaborate with us because their photographer, Ivan, he's really good at cinematography. And we've been sitting on this story for a couple of years and we were looking for the right person to be able to film it because, we can't film it and be in it at the same time. It's really hard. So a lot of we gave him like a vision board and we wrote a whole script and casted everybody. So he did the videography and we did the editing together. He did a lot of the editing. But it was mostly a big amateur productions project that we brought Alterotic on board. So that's why it had that kind of studio look to it. And they're producing the DVDs for us. We're going to pick those up this weekend. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those projects where like you want to make it, but you have to have it look a specific way. Like I hate making writing something really big and then it just not looking how you wanted. So Ivan was kind of the perfect person to team up with on that.
He was. He has such an eye for that. Sorry.
So you know why I asked the question for those who are not in the know exactly, because at some point with these stories, one of these, I think you guys crowdfunded somewhere in there. You raised money, I think, on Indiegogo, which I think is interesting in its own right. With that, I'm actually a little bit surprised that that was even allowed on Indiegogo. So that's also interesting, right? In its own right. So what was that whole thing? Because you're obviously teaming up with a studio and a production company that's going to help you, but you're also doing some stuff on crowdfunding with it, and then you're shooting stuff, and then you're bringing other people in, and then you made the cast bigger, I guess. So what was that whole thing? Because that's so interesting, because I've never heard of porn getting crowdfunding.
Yeah, the crowdfunding part actually was after Neon Vampire, like the trilogy DVD was finished. It was like a more recent thing. So we're looking like we're writing number 2 and we're looking into producing that, which was what the crowdfunding is for. I think the production's going to be a little more difficult on this one, just because like we're getting so close to deadlines, like for October. But like, so the first one, the whole trilogy was basically Robin and I funded the whole thing. And so that was a little difficult. Like a year later now, we're seeing the benefits and it's been responded to very well. And
Let's talk
we're
about
happy.
that too. Let's talk about that too, because that's interesting as well. Where obviously any business requires capital and risk, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean you don't have headaches. My hair is gray due to my business and what I
Yeah.
do and the risks that I've taken. And there's been plenty of benefit, and I'm thrilled what I've done. But what is that like? Because when you're funding it, and I don't know exactly how much it is, and you don't have to answer that, but I would say it's a significant amount of cash, right? It's not
Yeah.
$100 is my point.
No, like I mean, makeup alone for the amount of what was it? At least 6 or 7 models on the one day,
Yeah.
and then
I'll
wardrobes.
throw it. I'll ask you. I'll put it a different way, and we can go higher or lower. So my friends over at Zenoscope went to San Diego Comic Con. It ran them about 40K to go out to San Diego for a
Wow.
4-day convention by flying out, shipping books, getting materials. Now you're at a Comic Con that has 200,000 plus people. So
Mhm.
they made their money and they didn't go broke. So
Right.
I don't think it was that money, right?
No.
No,
It was
no, it wasn't that much. I think that was the thing, like with Ivan and with the way that we do things is like, we just put a lot of care and effort into like the set building. We went out and physically scouted locations, and we'd actually take pictures and stuff beforehand, and put them on the on the script sheet to show exactly what we wanted and stuff. And then, so
You're
I
writing
think
a
like,
comic book is what you're doing.
yeah, and I was actually talking. So it's funny you mentioned comics because I've been saying to her, I'd love to have a short comic version of Neon Vampire done, just because like the story is there and everything, and it was kind of been like an endeavor to return to like the story based stuff that we were doing initially, and like we just like making films and making it look cinematic and stuff. And then it's adult content, but also like I don't know.
We always wanted to do the kind of Xena that you wanted to see. It always gets like up to this tension and then cuts off. Well, what happened after that part? Like everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was interesting because we posted just the safe for work parts of each scene on YouTube, and it went over 1 million views, and it got our channel into that like the Google partner program and everything. So people reacted really well on YouTube to it, just to the safe for work acting scenes.
Yeah.
And then it was like they're like, we need more, we need more. And I'm like, oh, we might want to make more of just the exposition.
Yeah, it has like 4 million now, I think.
I don't know.
Like your channel.
It's got a fair bit.
Imagine that. I have a
That-
video that has 40,000 views, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. Like I feel so important. And then like you're like 4 million views, just nothing, just nothing.
No, it's like our first.
We were
thing
shocked when I was watching the numbers go up. That's like the cool thing. Like, we put a lot of effort, but sometimes like what if it doesn't go? And then it was
You
just like,
had the YouTube for years.
yeah, my YouTube hadn't been growing, and then I put that one up, and people, I think they're like searching for like Vampire Diaries and stuff like that, and come across it. So yeah,
It's
Just
great.
like, oh,
also
just nothing.
But
Just
the
another
timing.
day.
I think the timing too, right? Because it was Halloween.
We released
Like we released it for Halloween, and we did like a one scene that 1 week, and then the next, and then the next. So, but
Sounds like
yeah,
an adult. Like Neon Vampires is an adult version of Van Helsing that was on Sci-Fi.
Yes.
that's yeah. We were kind of. I really love like what would you call it? We were watching like some bad Canadian sci-fi stuff like Lex and stuff like that, even. And just like kind of stuff like that. I really love the cheesiness of it, but also like it's lower production value, but it still is interesting, you know.
Kind of that Trailer Park Boys kind of thing.
I like bad films sometimes.
That's because you're Canadian.
So many things, just so many things. No, I find it interesting though, because again, when you produce something and you put real skin in the game, it's very different than when somebody else is footing the bill. I had a friend, comic creator, said, when you mortgage your house to do your book, you have to tell me what to do. And so there's a reason why nobody gets to tell me what to do on my show anymore, because I'm paying for it all. And it's my responsibility. So I get to call the shots. So if I don't feel like interviewing somebody, I don't interview them. And I'm extremely selective because it's my show. It's not somebody else's. And if somebody's being a dick and they're not a good person and they're not doing something I want them to do in whatever industry they're in, guess what? You don't get an invitation on my show. In the last 90 days, 15 people have asked me to be on my show. I've accepted 3 out of being solicited.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you.
But I solicited you. It's different when you solicit me. So the reason is that
Don't say that. That was your word.
What would you say?
Don't say it that way.
No. I requested to interview you.
I'm
You
teasing.
got to me, and because there's a bunch of people who I don't, in which that if I go and reach out and say, hey, I would like to interview you for my show, that means that I view you as a qualified candidate to fit into my show. When somebody reaches out to me, 9 times out of 10, they're desperate looking for an interview to promote their shit, and they're not going to be beneficial to me. And it sucks. It sucks because it's like I have to be a dick about it and I have to be an asshole about it, but I also have to protect the brand. When I'm interviewing the voice actor of Rock Lee, I don't want to put somebody who is in their first comic book who is not good at this, right? It doesn't have any credibility. The two of you have credibility in your sector.
We try.
So,
so I guess
the point. So
what you were saying, like, so we basically, we had like, it was several $1,000s, let's say, at least, I'm sure, to produce. But we were just like,
we could play another game. So my burn rate every 90 days is on my eBay business is probably about 4,500 every 90 days. 45 to 5,500 every 90 days is what I'm burning through on merchandise.
Oh wow.
So I mean, every 90 days I'm pulling in 20 to 22,000 sales. So I have a high burn rate. So again, higher or lower versus my burn rate
for the budget for the film,
for production or what capital you put in. The reason why I ask it that way is because the skin in the game matters. And I think what you two have done with this is that when you have $4,000 into a project, there's no, you're going to go through to the end of the project.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill said it best. If you're in the middle of hell, you might as well keep going.
Well, the thing is that, like, so there's a lot of companies that do production and stuff, right? But so typically how that works is you do the day and you do your job, you go home, you get paid, and then they make the money on that scene typically. You don't see like residuals or anything like that for it. So you get paid the one-time payment and then that's that. So this was more like we wanted to make like a cool, big, well-produced studio-looking scene without the massive budget, without anyone kind of, having that input. So then we got to kind of make what we wanted with it, but more for the models so that everyone who is in it has rights to sell the video. And so we make what we make off of it. And then every model that was in the video also sells it on their own platforms to make their own. So like they will get paid in perpetuity for it now, more or less, as long as it sells or has clicks.
So you have granted a license to every model to sell it, and they don't necessarily get a royalty, but they have a license that is part of their contract for being in the film.
Right. Yeah. So they can sell it and make whatever they make off of it. They don't like, we don't really exchange information on any of that. That's just, you know.
Well, there's minimum prices and stuff, so
Yeah.
like no one undersells each other, and that's the performers. There were some people that were extras, but
You have taken a license wholesale deal essentially, where on wholesale, because I deal in wholesale, everybody, you can't sell a comic book for less than $12. If you bought it for 4, and so if somebody has found out that they sold it for less than 12, you know, they might get a warning not to do it again. And then after that, they might be kicked out of it. But if there's 5 books and they bundled 5 books, and the 5 books collectively mean that that first book that should be sold for 12 was sold for 10, but it was in a bundle, that's a different discussion. So
Yeah.
that's stipulated in the contract.
it's an unspoken rule in my world, is that great, you sold a whole thing that equaled $150 and everybody bought it for 50. Sure, one thing had to give over here if we break it down, but it's just the way it is. But that's what you've essentially done, which is an interesting business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would normally, if it was like a bundle thing, you'd say that the bundle has to be at least this much amount to cover, you know, the video that is in question. Therefore, everybody still gets.
It's smart because you've essentially you've given a license agreement without having to take capital out of your production or your wallet or have accounting for it. Because you've handed over the product. That's actually really, really smart, because you haven't granted a royalty, you've granted profits out of something. And then it's up to them to promote it and all the models in it. All that's I don't know if that was the intention, but it's pretty smart.
Well, and then it's also the eyes, like they promote it and then they promote it so more people see it as well. And
yeah, it's like it's cross promotion. And then I mean, some of the other models, maybe if they have a bigger following, or like, I mean, maybe their fans buy more stuff, like they might stand to make more off of it. But we would like the models to make the money and not so much like, you know, other people.
But you also are you two are in it too. So you sell it on your thing too. So you're still getting a bite of the apple. So it's not like, you know, it's not like you're getting left out in the cold. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we do produce stuff of other models, and so that's like what the amateur productions thing is as well.
Yeah.
That had started like 6 years ago or something in Canada. Because I was like, hey, I like filming. I like, you know. So we came up with some ideas for some friends and did some shoots for them, and just have been getting more into that recently though.
Yeah, they really loved it though, and they said that it's their best selling videos, even like 6 years ago, the videos that we were doing for people. But yeah, like we just have a bit of a different business model as far as that goes. It's about like the community more than it is just about like one person or us.
No, it's interesting.
We were like driving up to Quebec on our own dime back in the day
7 hours
to go shoot people, edit the content for them, give them the content or whatever, just because we wanted to do cool things, basically. I mean, I kind of see it as like you get an internship sometimes, an unpaid internship, and so that's like you're gaining knowledge and information, you know.
No. I mean, again, I'm always interested in other people's business models. I'm always interested in other people's business models because, again, I have my theories on my business model. My business model is very simple. I buy a product for X, I sell it for more than what I bought, and plus fees and all that stuff. And I try. This is what's crazy. So I sell a lot of cards. I buy them at a wholesale price of $4. I sell them for $8. It's $2 cheaper with free shipping than if you buy directly from the company. So everybody's happy because everybody made or saved money. And then with baseball cards, every once in a while I get a parallel and those cards trade for sometimes 40, 50, 60 bucks. And then you sell those on top of it. So that's just bonus. And when you're buying in so much bulk that it's random. It's not random. So that's but it's still cheaper for everybody to get what they want with free shipping, and it's $2 cheaper. And so I'm still making a good chunk of money, and I sell a lot of those cards. So, but I'm always interested in other people's business models because it makes me smarter.
So yours is kind of similar, though. That's the thing. We want it to be good for everyone, basically. So, I mean, you win, they win, everyone's happy.
My favorite customers are the one who buy 50 of the same card, and I'll tell you why. It's not the price that's the issue. I actually make less money by selling 50 of the same card. I make that money up in shipping.
Oh,
Because when
wow.
somebody buys 22 cards, you put it in one fucking envelope, and it saves hours. Like it saves my tongue licking the envelopes. It saves tape. It legitimately, I calculated that it's better for me to make 50 cents less per card if I could send them all to one person.
That's fair.
I've done the envelopes, I've done the tape, I've done the calculations, and legitimately, I make like $4 more by making less money. It's insane.
That makes sense, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sell
And it's
baseball
great.
cards?
Baseball and the WNBA.
Oh, okay.
The WNBA has made me so much money. It is disturbingly sick how much money it's made me between
Interesting.
me gambling on it and selling cards.
Who knew?
Oh,
I
that's
didn't.
the thing.
Yeah.
I knew about the digital ones.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to talk about something else regarding this too. So you're gonna have physical media too with it. So you're having DVDs with this.
Yes. Yes.
So
We picked them up.
what is that like? Because physical media is kind of coming back a little bit, and it's kind of so. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I just bought from Zenoscope, and I have a good relationship. They just did a Blu-ray on Kickstarter,
Yeah.
and I could watch what they did digitally, and I'm probably gonna watch it digitally, but I want the physical Blu-ray because A, you can't take it away. B, I wanted to support them. It also came with a bunch of comics, but more importantly, it's kind of a cool keepsake when you have a Blu-ray of something, right? Like
Right.
it's the same thing when I buy anime, things that I like, I want on Blu-ray, but then also I have some collectible cool shit with like DVDs and Blu-rays that are just dope, right? So like it's kind of fun when you have like an cool like Afro Samurai DVD that opens up that has like real art. It's like a trifold art thing. It's awesome
Nice.
because it looks so
Yeah.
cool, right? And like all my friends are like, "Oh, dude, when are you gonna get rid of that? I'll buy it from you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not happening." So like, what is this like for you? Because I don't know if somebody wants a DVD of this or they want the collectible media side of this because it's kind of I don't know what it is exactly, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do bundles and stuff too because we have posters. Excuse me. And we have scripts and stuff that we're gonna include with the DVD sales, and physical media is back though. I mean, we're very excited, and there's nothing like a good nostalgic DVD to hold in your hand. Like it just it's like a whole other feeling. We have a
We have a few
collection
DVDs
of
over there, and
like,
I think they're pretty cool as keepsakes. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm the physical media thing. I do think has been seeing a bit of a resurgence. Like especially, I don't know how DVDs are doing, but like vinyl, for example,
Oh.
I like buying vinyl records now just because then it's like a physical thing. And then, I mean, the audio quality is different than the digital, obviously. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see when we get them. I don't know. I've seen a picture of them so far.
I know. I want to hold it.
Let me ask this because do you two do cons like Erotica X and All Con and all that stuff? I mean, I don't know anything about this. This is definitely way out of my perspective on anything. I just know my friend Pat Shan does stuff there where he's a comic writer and he does not safe for work comic books and he cleans up. He
Wow.
cleans. He was at like Exotica in Jersey and DC, and he cleans up because he's the only comic guy there doing it, and he cleans up.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah, we've done a few. We want to expand a bit because we've mostly done like AVN Expo and the ones in this area. But we want to get out to like the Florida and Jersey area soon.
Yeah.
We're working on getting Serena her green card. So it's all of our focus is in like one place right now. So
Because the reason why I ask is that I think your DVDs would be really cool at a con because it's
yeah,
physically there. You then can sign it, right? Because that's always fun, right? Because
yeah,
that to me is the real play, right? It's kind of
right.
like you meet your favorite adult porn star. I think I can say that that's not offensive, right?
No.
No.
I'm making sure. It's you'd be surprised what's offensive and what's not. So
Yeah.
they're signing a DVD there, and they're like, cool. Now I have something that's really cool. That's like it's signed by both of you, and then maybe somebody else is there who was in it too, and now you have a really cool thing. Because I like getting my Blu-rays of anime stuff signed by voice actors, like because then it's
That's
like it's
cool.
fun. So like I would imagine maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the weird one here. Maybe
No,
we're
no, definitely
I
not.
was telling her, I was like, it would be nice to get a couple copies, maybe like 3 copies of it, and get them signed by everybody, all the models in it.
Mhm.
I mean, we probably could pull that off.
Yeah, most of them are here in
But
Vegas. So.
it would be cool in person being able to sign them and stuff. I like to go sometimes to like Deja Vu here
Yeah.
and sign the DVDs that they have with me and leave them back on the shelf. And then I'll post on Twitter and say, hey, I just left this one here.
Go find it.
Go find it. And then, it's kind of cool when you see it's gone. You're like, somebody got it.
Yeah.
no. I like the idea of the physical media. I like the posters. I'm not touching the poster because I definitely can't hang that up in my house. I know I can't hang that up in my house. If I would like to live in my house, it's definitely not going to be hung up.
I was
As much
saying
as I like
we have like t-shirts and stuff with like me and Robin and Darcy on it with like the moon and all that. But I was like, maybe if we just take off the title and it doesn't say Neon Vampire, it just has like 3 vampire ladies and there's just no title and it's ambiguous. Maybe, we could get away with that.
the last time I wore an offensive shirt, I wound up getting a free beer at Texas Roadhouse.
They
So I
liked it.
wore my LFC shirt, and it's Bella Inc. and Julian Hex fighting each other, and it's Julian Hex's ass is on like the front of the shirt. And so the guy and like 2 or 3 waiters were like, "Hey man, like I don't mean to like." They were like really quiet, be like, "Yo, like where'd you get that shirt? Because that's awesome." and then with 4 or 5 people started asking you that question, like, dude, like I want to make a big deal, but like, where'd you get that shirt? And then my mom hates that shirt, so that's why I wear it all the time. So
Right.
To keep some on you, and then when people ask, you'll be like, here, I have one for you. $50.
50 bucks.
oh no, I love it. I think merch with this would be dope. I think it's gonna be so smart. Like I think that you should have done a Blu-ray too with it.
So we were wondering about Blu-ray.
We're talking to somebody about possibly doing some Blu-rays.
Like, I've never used Blu-ray, so
Yeah.
What?
I didn't know. Yeah, no, I didn't know how big of a thing it, like, I used DVDs before. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Are they actually that much more superior? They're
There's
like
a
10.
million things I could say that's wrong with you. This is the top of the list.
Yeah, but they're 1080, right?
They are 1080 or they're 4K.
Oh, okay.
So it's 1080 or it could be, and then there's 4K Blu-rays, which are
Okay.
sick. Again, I just if I have the choice between a DVD and a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is
Yeah.
$5 more, I'll take the Blu-ray.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, actually.
Yes. We were wondering about that.
I mean, but like it's just I'm not opposed to DVDs, but it's just like I've left the DVD world. Like does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah.
I have an Xbox like One X, and it's a Blu-ray player, so like it just makes sense. Where like I don't even have a Blu-ray player, I have an Xbox. That solves
Right.
that problem.
That makes sense. Yeah.
PlayStations did that too.
I'm a Nintendo girl, so.
Oh my God. How deep do you go with your Nintendo?
Hmm?
How deep do you go with your Nintendo?
Oh, I don't know. I really like Zelda and Metroid. Those are my
My
jams.
favorite system is the GameCube.
The GameCube was great.
With Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah. Super Mario Sunshine was really great too, actually. I think it was cool. Different, but
I was bad at that game. I liked Animal Crossing. That was fun. That was like my speed.
I liked the Harvest Moon Magical Melody.
Harvest Moon was good. I like
Yeah.
Harvest Moon. Mineral Town was fun.
I have a bit of a kink for forcing everyone to play Mario Party with me.
Oh my God, that's great too.
And Mario Kart.
And Mario Kart, but mostly Mario Party. Yeah. And then I just talk shit the whole time.
Mario Party ruined video games for me for like 6 years.
Oh no, why?
I had an ex friend who was fucking nut job and fucking crazy, and thank God I'm no longer associated. So we're playing Mario Party, right? Mario Party is a relatively tame game, right? It's a fun game, right? So
Depends.
apparently he gets massively competitive, and then I beat him in Mario Party, and he went ape shit. He's yelling and he's going all, and I'm like, we're playing Mario Party, dude. Like calm the fuck down, like. And then he became like a fucked up sociopath in high school, and then the friendship was dying because he wanted to be valedictorian and he got salvatorian, and then it was all about his college career. And meanwhile, it's like you gotta like fucking chill out. If Mario Party makes you go ape shit, you got bigger problems.
Right.
It's not Monopoly or
It's
something.
not Monopoly.
I mean, at least play a competitive game. Like I don't know, like Double Dash. Like
Or 007 GoldenEye. I've had
That's
people go fifth over that one.
that's a
I
great
played
game.
that for the first time this
She just
year,
played that. Finally.
like 6 months ago.
She was confused by the controls though, because the axes are switched.
I hate inverted axes.
Oh man, my friend has like an NES, like 64. So
Oh.
he's pulling out one of those, and he's game hunting. So he got the blockbuster Flintstone game just recently.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
So that was a game exclusively for Blockbuster.
Oh. I don't think I played that then.
No.
It's not a good game. It's just
Okay,
it's
good
just a cool game to have in your collection because it's like an orange cartridge, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And you legitly had to like go like steal it from Blockbuster. So Blockbuster went under, and a bunch of people just didn't return it. That's how people got them.
Oh my god.
Probably worth so much now too. Yeah.
I think it's like maybe like $80, which is high, 80 to 100. So it's not hard to it's not ultra expensive, but it's just a pain in the ass to find them.
It's rare.
I still have a copy of Ocarina of Time sealed in the box, the collector's edition.
Damn.
I'm like, I don't think I can ever open it.
Oh, that. Man, I don't even remember Ocarina all that well. It's been a while. I was deprived. I didn't get a GameCube until I was like 12.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was
That's
playing
a
like
really good game. You can still play. I like watching her play Zelda or games that I've already played. I made her play Metroid. I made her play Zelda.
Mhm.
Because then it's like interesting seeing how somebody else interacts with the game, you know?
How I solved the puzzle.
She solves the puzzles differently.
it's so interesting.
I'm a Mario girl, so I was always into Mario, and she got me into the Zelda thing. It's pretty
See,
good.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog guy.
Sonic was great. For
You're
the
totally a
Sega
Sonic guy.
Genesis Sonic,
Yeah.
Sonic 2.
Sonic holds a special place in my heart though, because I know Ian Flynn has been writing Sonic the Hedgehog for a while, and I had him on my show on Sonic's 30th anniversary.
Nice.
So that was cool with a wrestler who it was fascinating. Then I've introduced Ortiz, who plays Amy Rose from the Sonic franchise, and then I introduced Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who plays Miles Tails.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Tails is my favorite.
So I'm lucky enough, and then
That's awesome.
the Hedgehog movies.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The
Like-
movies. I'm shocked that the movies actually kind of are pretty good.
Oh, they're excellent. They're excellent. It was everything. The first one was good. The second one was better, and the third one's going to be even better than that. Keanu Reeves is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh my god, really?
Oh my
I was shocked. I went into it expecting them to be bad. And then I was like shocked and surprised. I was like, those are actually good. Like, and for a video game movie,
It was better than Detective Pikachu.
it was better than Mario. The Mario movie,
Yeah,
a little too, I don't know. It was weak.
it wasn't enough story.
I love the Mario movie. It was great.
It was adorable, but
I was great, but I feel like there wasn't enough of like an arc and I feel like it was like a big nothing burger. at
maybe
the
kind
end.
of rushed.
It was rushed, yeah.
I knocked the camera.
I don't know. I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu, but then I saw it in theaters and I got free Pokemon cards, so I really can't complain.
Oh yeah, that would be true. I'm not a big Ryan Reynolds fan myself
Why?
because
How
it's
can
the same character in everything that he does. He's just Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu or Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, or it's like always the same character.
I thought he was pretty good at Detective Pikachu. I could see it in Deadpool. I could see it in Van Wilder. I could see it in Waiting. Waiting was a funny movie though, for a lot of.
It's a good movie. Yeah, that one is good. I'll give you that.
I did like Detective Pikachu though.
I mean, I'm not gonna hate it because it's Pikachu and I'm obsessed with Pikachu, but it's just like it's Ryan Reynolds. Damn. I don't know who else could have done it, but I don't know.
Right. And I think it was big boots to fill to be Pikachu.
It is very big boots to fill. Pikachu.
There's like 3 other people who could have done it. There's really only 3 other people who could have done it.
Well, who do you
When I
think?
tell you, what?
What do you think?
I think Vin Diesel could have done it. I really do. And hear me out on this. Hear me out on this one. You think he couldn't do it, but he can. Now there's 2 other people, and one of them is crazier than you think, but it's brilliant. I would have wanted to see Joe Pesci as Pikachu.
Oh my god. That would
And,
have been something.
and then the other one that would have been great is Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
I was thinking like Jack Black, but
See, I don't think
that
Jack
would be
Black
an
can do
interesting
it,
Pikachu.
because Jack Black to me is perfect as what Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Dan DeVito?
Oh my god.
It would be great. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That would be
I mean, now we're just getting off the chain here, because
Yeah.
I
Polly Shore.
That's too much.
That went too far. Sorry.
Who'd you say?
Polly Shore. Encino Man.
Oh my god,
Buddy.
there's a lot of. I think Bradley Cooper would be really interesting as a detective. Too. I think Bradley Cooper could have done it really well.
I'll give you that one.
But I would love to see Joe Pesci as a Detective Pikachu.
That would be awesome.
Completely like Goodfellas, Joe Pesci as Detective
Yeah.
Pikachu. Just replace all the lines with Goodfella lines. Oh, you have an Academy Award winning movie right there.
It would be a completely
It
different
would
movie.
be funny.
Yeah. It
It'd
would be
be a real version of this.
good.
No, I love Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I'm wearing my Pokemon shirt. I absolutely
Get a
adore Pokemon.
Pokemon shirt.
We've been playing Pokemon Go lately, and the spooky Pokemon just came out. So that's been great.
Just caught my first Pumpkaboo.
I used to go to the bar where I used to live, and it was a Pokestop. So
Mhm.
what I would do is that I would use it to hit on girls.
How did that work?
It worked like 50% of the time.
Mm. Just like as a conversation starter.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because
That's fun.
it was non-threatening. I'm like, yo, I'm playing Pokemon Go. Let's see if I
Yeah,
can get this Pokemon. Can I buy you a drink? It just flowed a certain way.
that's true.
Because again, you know what it is? Somebody's there, and I was just like, I'm gonna go catch this Pokemon. Do you want to help?
Do you want to help?
Yes.
Let's team up.
We were doing that in Mexico. Our Spanish isn't very good, but we would just be like,
Pokemon?
and they'd be like, yeah. So we'd get a group together.
Yeah, for a little raid.
The most successful pickup line, though. Most successful pickup line I've ever done was I was at a bar with my friend. My friend went to the bathroom. I went to the bar. I see this girl. She looks cute. And then I'm like, hey, what's up? Completely ignores me. Then my friend Eric, who's very, very attractive, might I add, goes, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is my friend Eric. He's fighting Brock Lesnar tomorrow night. Brock Lesnar is like a 320-pound former UFC champion. And
Oh.
what happened is that she didn't know who he was, but the way I just said it completely defused her because I just didn't care. And then, I'm trying to hook up my friend who was driving with her, and then I would disappear and do whatever I wanted to do. And turns out I wound up speaking to her, and I called every single decision she was making. She went to the bathroom, and then like another guy was into her who was her friend, and she completely like brushed him off. And like I just called every single shot, and I said they went to the bathroom, and then she's going to come back a little bit cold. I'm going to say something witty, and then she's going to warm right back up. And for like 6 hours, I was just calling her, and like my friend Eric was just like, dude, how are you calling it like this? And I'm like, the writing was on the wall, bro.
It was all there.
But yeah, no. But. So you're playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah, like every day.
Yeah, it's
We played it years ago, like when we were doing a lot of traveling, and then we've just been so busy lately we haven't picked it up. And then just recently in the last couple months we started playing again. And we're really
I
into it.
graduated from Pokemon Go. I played for like 6 months.
We graduated.
Yeah, I like the attitude. I love the attitude.
what did you graduate to?
Yeah.
I graduated to playing a bunch of different games for money.
Oh, that makes sense.
What games do you play for money?
Mecha Domination. I played Ant Legion for money. Because all these, so there's a site called Inbox Dollar, and once you reach certain levels, they either give you $1, $1.50, $5, $20, and
Mhm.
so I play. Takes me, I usually get $3 or $4 per game, then I drop it because you have 30 days to complete. I move on to the next one.
How
I
did
didn't
it
know
work
any of
out?
those were real.
So what it is that they're trying to get you to play the game and then buy things in the game.
Oh, so they're trying to give you something and then get it back.
But you could do it without it.
Oh,
You don't have to pay for anything, and then you just simply take the lowest fruit denominator and you move on to the next one, the next one, the next one.
oh my god. Funny. I thought you
reverse
meant
engineer
just
everything.
streaming.
This is what I do. I find ways how to reverse engineer everything.
That's really interesting. I'm like, I didn't know that that was a thing. I used to do those silly, what do you say? I don't know what they're called, survey things, but that didn't work out very well.
I take those too on Inbox Dollar.
Yeah. The referrals used to be the good thing on that. I would go on like Craigslist and post the thing and then get the referral. Oh,
See my referral on DraftKings. Oh my god, that's just disturbing.
oh my gosh. Apparently there's like digital cards too, the sports cards. There's like digital ones that are also like
Yeah,
You
I
can
don't
sell
think
them.
that.
Yeah,
I'm a big crypto guy.
yeah.
I have a lot of money in Bitcoin and I have a lot of money in Ethereum right now.
Hmm.
I was an
Bitcoin.
early investor. I was buying like Ethereum and Bitcoin when it was like $1,200. So I bought a bunch of Bitcoin when it was $1,200. It's now sitting at like 53,000.
Oh my God.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Congratulations.
And people thought I would. People said, Andrew, you're wrong. You're gonna lose all your money. And I'm like, guys, buy it now. Like, listen, like I don't need to tell you anything. If you're like, you're wrong and you're gonna fail. I'm like,
Oh,
we'll see.
Well, now you're laughing.
yeah. Now who's laughing?
And I'm still telling people to buy Bitcoin because I still am buying it. I think at
I still don't
53,000,
believe me.
it's dirt cheap. I think it's dirt cheap as an asset.
Hmm.
I think it's significantly underrated, and I think Bitcoin in the next 5 years is going to be worth 150 to 200,000, easy.
Hmm.
So I think Bitcoin the gains are off the chart. I think Ethereum is going to be worth even more. For I don't think Ethereum is going to be worth 200,000. I think it's going to be worth like 8 to 9.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
But this is the beautiful thing. It doesn't matter when you get in. It matters that you're in the game. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Because with debasement of currencies, I mean, this is what it looks like. But that's a whole different economic conversation. I'd much rather do a career because that's way more interesting.
Yeah.
It's way more interesting to my audience anyway, because my audience doesn't listen to me on finances. But if they did, they'd be rich.
Right?
Maybe they should.
But yeah, so obviously you got physical media, you got the posters, you have the OnlyFans stuff, many bids. I'm sure that I'm going to be spending money with you at some point with something. I what? I don't know. I don't know why you just did this.
Just
Just
teasing
being
you.
silly.
She knows way more than she's letting on about me.
I don't know what you're talking about, Andrew.
It's okay. You could just plead the fifth. But yeah, so obviously, I'm curious where both of you see the industry going, though, because you've been in it for a while. A lot of changes have occurred. A lot of things are happening. I think there are many battles going on behind the scenes. I think Texas with Pornhub is a big one. That's public. If I don't know the whole details, but I think that's going on in Texas, and I think
Yeah.
a few other states. But I also think that it's complicated to police the internet.
Yeah.
And then there's also other battles where taking down content being stolen, being on other sites, it gets taken down, then it gets re-put up somewhere else, and then it gets moved around. And so there's a lot of other crazy shit going on. So obviously, I don't know where you guys see this going and where it's evolving to the whole adult industry, because it's complicated, I think, on a multitude of levels.
Yeah. It's definitely complicated. That was many questions in one question.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, the Texas thing is scary, and then the requiring people to upload their ID to access porn sites as well. It's a scary concept because that would change the game a lot. I don't think it's actually going to go through, but if it did, that could be very hard on the porn world for sure.
Well, statistically, let's say I look at statistics a lot, and
Yeah.
America, let's say, makes up 43% of our viewers at times. So, like, if America even alone is affected in many states by these sorts of laws, then of course that would probably see some sort of decrease. But like, I don't know. I think it's moving more towards like creator run sort of things. A lot of the creators are kind of getting to a point where they know the ins and outs. They know what is needed and what doesn't work. And so I think that a lot of the creators are starting to make businesses around what creators need. and for creators as opposed to, corporations and stuff.
It's a new age.
Yeah.
It's kind of the wild, wild west.
With the collaborations and stuff now, where it's just you kind of like, hey, do you want to collab? Like, so.
And then everybody makes money off of it. Definitely changing a lot.
No. That again, I don't know where it's going. I have
Yeah.
opinions, and I think that again, I'm not in the industry, and I don't know where it's going exactly. I think I know where it's going, but I also think that the people who are trying to do this, I don't think that they're necessarily going to win what they're trying to do.
Right. Yeah.
I get the idea, and I get the righteous side of it, where
Yeah.
obviously you don't want minors looking at this stuff, which I think most people think is good. But I also think that there's a bigger issue where you need to be watching, your kids for lack of a better.
Exactly.
And also it also falls upon the idea that maybe you need to put blockers on your computer.
Right. Yeah, I think that there's definitely that aspect. I mean, even so my social media, for example, even my Instagram, I have it locked so that nobody under 18 can even see my account because I don't want that. So it's like, I think there needs to be more safeguards in place for sure.
I mean, my YouTube account and all my videos are 18 plus. Now, if
yeah,
something
I do
slips
the
through,
same.
it's going to
Even
slip
if there's
through.
nothing in it that's bad, I still put 18 plus just because of the nature of.
I don't want a 16-year-old around on my channel.
No.
Like for a different reason. A 16-year-old has no money.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's no money.
But they'll as far as the having to upload your ID to access a porn site, they'll just take their parents' ID. It's just silly. They're not going to follow the rules. But
I like how you're going to take their parents' ID. Their parents are already up to it, so they'll just use their parents' account.
They'll just use their account.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just think it's more hurtful than what it will help in the long run.
I think people just don't want to take responsibility for things, basically.
Monitoring their children's consumptions.
Yeah, no. It's also, I mean, there's other issues too, where parents are having massive disconnects with their kids right now in America. It is a bigger problem. So if I have children, I'm gonna know, and I hate to say it, and it's gonna sound fucked up when I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna have built a profile for my kids. So I'm gonna know when something's wrong before they know it's wrong, and before my significant other knows what's wrong, because I'm gonna have a profile and I'm gonna know my kids' idiosyncrasies and all their ticks and their tats and their whatever else. So I'm gonna know when something's wrong with my kid.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of parents aren't doing that right now, and I think a lot of them are just not connecting, and that's where part of this is coming from. Is that somebody's just trying to scapegoat it? It's the same thing that happened in comics with the comic code, but again, I can't prove it, but that's just my thoughts. But I get why it's being fought over. I just don't think it's the right reasons to fight over it, or is it the right solution? So I don't think it's the right solution or the right reasons to fight over. But I digress. Enough about that. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Not really.
Thank you for having us. It was a lot of fun.
I'm going to give you a chance to promote yourself. I'm going to give you a chance to promote yourself. So where can people find both of you, find out what you're doing, all that fun stuff, everything in between, and where can people check out the DVD, get the clips, all that stuff, get Neon Vampires, many vids, all that stuff?
So I'm at Sarina Havok, SARINA HAVOK on Twitter, TS Sarina Havok on Instagram, and then just if you Google Sarina Havok, my name, you'll find everything.
Yeah, it's true. And then of course I'm at Robin Coffins on everything. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, ManyVids, Pornhub, OnlyFans, and SerinaandRobin.com is our personal website.
Yeah. So the DVDs,
Yeah, they are. Well, we have the pre-sale available on the website, but I'm gonna put them up for actual sale.
When we get them in our hands,
this
we will
weekend.
be putting them up.
Monday, we're supposed to pick them up. So very excited, and we're gonna sign some and put those up for sale too. So I'd be very excited. I have no words for how excited I am.
And then obviously this is my show, so I'm going to promote myself, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep saying it is that you got to support what people are doing, whether that's following people on social media, subscribing to their OnlyFans, liking their Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever they're doing. All that fun stuff goes a long way. Again, support isn't just not money; it's also liking, saying hi, all that shit. So please go do that. And then, as far as I'm concerned, everything that I do, I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter/X, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on YouTube. We have 781 subscribers. So come join the party. We're having a good time on YouTube. Got a lot of cool stuff coming out. Got a lot of content coming out. You can look at my early interviews starting in October. So I'm just they're rare. They're rare, and they're going to be interesting. There's some good stuff in there, but it's also the early days. It's like the Lost. It's like the vault, right? I'm opening up the vault again. So you all get to see that. And then as far as everything else goes, obviously, if I didn't say it already, I'm Pop Anime Comics on TikTok, and I do have an eBay store. And so come look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay at Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. I got some really cool items like this in my store. I have all 15 of this book readily available for you. I have all 15 of this book that I bought out the whole print run. It's all foily, it's all shiny, it's awesome. It's an awesome product. I have 8 of these left. So apparently people are telling that they can't see it, which is interesting in its own right. And then I carry cards like this, which is a base relic card where earlier this year, Major League Baseball honored Willie Mays, and they played at Rickwood, which is one of the first and oldest Negro League stadiums. And Major League Baseball is recognizing those players and those stadiums. So this is a game used base from the game that they played at Rickwood Field down in Alabama. So really cool. And I have one of those still available in my store. So it's a rare card. It's limited to 99 or less. And it goes to 49. And then it goes down to 25, 10, 1. So cool card. And I'm asking like 170. But if you offer me 160, I'll take it. So yes, that's everything that I got going on. And that's everything that I got going on. So I don't know who wants the final word.
Vampire.
And I don't think I could have said that any better myself already. That is a wrap.